everybody, this is Ginger. uh, this is Ginger. Ginger's Chat Show on Monday, May 22nd. 59 degrees, cloudy here in western Washington and here in Lakewood. Not too bad today. It's kind of nice. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's just right in the way I like it. I have my window partially open to get some fresh air. Hey, Dorothy! How are things in your neck of the woods in Florida? Anyway, today we're going to be discussing, good and bad candidates and how to spot them. Some that are blatantly obvious, and there are others that are really subtle. Hey Nancy, good seeing you. I thought I was going to be late today. I almost forgot about it because I was trying to work on my store and get things tweaked and everything and find out what the problem is and why sales are not going out or anything. So I'm trying to fix those issues. It's going to take some time. Yeah, I bet it is. Prior to talking about this subject, of course, I don't know if you guys knew or not, but Axiom 2 sent up a private crew up to ISIS to do some more testing and on various projects, and because Axiom is getting ready to start building the new space station, which they're going to be contracted to do for NASA and for SpaceX for their crews. So they're going to be building a new space station, and that space station will be in operation by 2030, which is about 7 years from now. Because they're going to be retiring the International Space Station in 2030. It's getting old, and so they need to get a new one up there, and so we can continue our space exploration. Except this space station is going to be bigger, a little bit bigger, and a lot more space and everything else and storage. So they're working on some designs for it, and figuring out a way of solving some issues, especially when you have crews going in and out and sleep areas and everything in storage, which is the big thing up there. So they're working on it. And then, of course, also the next step is going back to the moon, and then setting up a base there, and eventually, hopefully going on to Mars, or some other planet. So, they're working on it. We're working on our space exploration, which I think is really kind of cool, kind of neat. Human race always wants to move on and move forward. They don't want to stay in the past. Okay? And Loki says hi. Here's Loki. He says hi, everybody. Hey, Virginia. How you feeling? Of course, right now I'm dealing with my shoulder issue here. If I go at a certain angle or prop my elbow up in a certain angle or anything, then my arms start tingling and I'm pinching a nerve. So that's going to be looked at in the next couple weeks. So I hope to be finding out what's going on that, unless I have another bone spur growing, which could be a possibility. So, anyway, with all the news and the antics that are going on by the MAGA rat GOP, that's why I call them MAGA rats, because they're acting like a bunch of rats, okay? and they're being stupid about a lot of stuff and refusing to work. And they say, oh, we can't work with anybody or anything else. Because you know why? Because of your actions. That's why. They can't seem to get through their thick skulls on the debt ceiling issue. Now, they better give it a clean, raise it cleanly, and just move on to other things. And stop cutting programs and everything. Leave things as they are, and then if need to be to cut some programs, then do it. Do it singly. Don't do it in one lump sum. In other words, go through everything, find out what's current, what is old, when that does not pertain to today's, how should I put it, today's situation, and fix it, and then move on to something else. And they need to really clean up a lot of the regulations that have been on the books for ages, hundreds of years, and they just need to clean everything out. That's what they really need to do. Well, like we do here at home in our own individual spaces, right? We do our spring cleaning. It really helps. And I'm doing like spring cleaning on my computer. I've been cleaning stuff on my computer that I don't need or use anymore to give myself more space. And that's what I'm doing. I should rename my chat show to Ginger's and Loki's chat show. He's a good boy. He really is. Cyrano's having some issues, so he's going to be looked at by the vet next couple weeks. Anyway, on to the subject I'm going to be talking about today, which is spotting a good and bad candidate. Especially when the presidential elections next year. You need to get off, Loki. Come on, you need to get off. Thank you. I didn't want him stepping on my keyboard or anything. And of course, we all know about idiot DeSantis, as I call him. He did not deserve the title of being governor of Florida at all. And I'm sure you pretty much agree with me there, Dorothy. He has no right doing what he's doing whatsoever. He should have just left it alone and accept people for who they are and just work on solving other problems that need more urgent attention than Disney World. And right now, he's acting like a little mini dictator is what he's acting like, a spoiled brat. And you know what? He can't do what he's doing. And he pulled the plug on, because Disney was going to build a new HQ over there in Florida, which is a $1 billion project. And then when DeSantis decided to pick a fight with him because they disagreed with his actions on this one bill, and saying they're telling what they can and cannot say and what they can and cannot learn, he needs to leave it alone. He needs to leave it up to the school boards. He needs to leave it up to the Florida Department of Education. And, somebody needs to tell it to his face. No other governors here in U.S. are doing this. They like their industries. The industries were established even before they even became governors. Okay? Many of them worked in the industries, whatever industries that they worked in their careers. So they accept it as it is. And they see problems and they fix the problems and they move on to another problem and fix that problem. It's an ongoing thing. Like my governor here, Governor Inslee. He's been trying to solve the transportation energy issue here. And and there are some GOP idiots in my legislature that want to screw things up. And we tell them, no. Okay? We want to go electric cars. We want to go because of the high price of gasoline. That's why more and more people are going electric. It's cleaner air. You don't have to worry about anything. All you just plug it in and go. There are more plug-in stations, like the park and ride stations here. A lot of them have plug-in stations. They even have that in some of the grocery stores have plug-in stations. And many of the grocery corporations have electric trucks and electric vehicles. Vehicles to reduce their carbon footprint. And that's what should be happening. Now, for spotting good and bad candidates, DeSantis is one of the bad candidates. He should not be in public office. He does not have the temperament for it. He's not listening to anybody as he should be. He's not. One good president, I think, would make one person make an excellent candidate is Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Now, he deserves that job. He knows what's what. He knows what works, what doesn't work, what things that can be fixed. Whereas McCarthy, he's a lousy candidate. He doesn't want to listen either. And he's like, oh, well, I know all this and everything else. I go, no, you don't, McCarthy. You don't even bother to learn the rules. And you break your own rules. And Hakeem Jeffries, last week, did a speech, and he really slammed the GOP. I mean, he really whipped them word-wise and say, look, we need to make a clean debt ceiling, raise it, and just move on and make the debt ceiling good until 8 years later. Because things could change in, when a president is president for 2 terms, things could change in that time frame. Okay? But there are some other smaller things that we need to change in Congress. And when I hear somebody say, oh, well, you're just preaching to the choir, it's not going to happen, and everything else, I said, when you say that, that means you condone it. You condone their actions. Where you should be as their employer telling them what to do. Okay? And another bad cabinet, obviously, is he who shall not be named. And we all know who he is, right? Well, I'm tired of the quote-unquote old, obtuse men. Yes, I agree with you there, Virginia. It's not their place to tell me to make my decisions. I make my own decisions. And if they don't like it, well, tough. I'm sick and tired of them going, have you really asked a woman how she arrived at this decision? Especially when it comes to her own health care. She knows what's going on with herself. They don't. Really, it's none of their business. Unless you're a family member. But, you know what? You know what, Virginia, I think what we should do is turn the tables on them and see how they like it. You know, give them a taste of their own medicine. Anyway, the candidates also should be based on their actions, on their community service, if they have any. But people like Trump, he's never learned how things work. All he's bent on doing is breaking the rules and doing things his way. And it doesn't work that way in the real world. You think the guy would know better. But he just doesn't listen to anybody. And now he's getting himself such a deep hole, legal hole, as he is in. He's not going to be able to get out of it at all. This end of sometime this summer, it might come sooner. This summer, the attorney, the indictment will come out of D.C. The indictment will come out of Georgia. Now, both are federal cases. One's from Money Laundering RICO Act, and the other in D.C. is the national security documents that Trump committed. He should be in jail for that right now until trial. I can't understand why they're treating with kid gloves on this. If anybody else did it, like that one National Guard guy that did it, he was in jail promptly. So why are they treating he who shall not be named any different? And he should be in jail right now. I don't care if he who shall not be named, Trump, was president. He was never my president. He didn't even act like a president. He acted like a little kid playing in the White House and doing whatever he wanted to do. So, we need to push back, and we need to tell our representatives and senators and say, look, this is what you're going to do. You're going to fix this. And you are supposed to do your job by listening to your constituents and what they want, or what your constituents want you to do. But we need to solve some serious problems, especially internally in Congress. We need to ban lobbying. The only person that can lobby is the American citizen constituent, which is you and me. We're the only people that should be there, not corporations. Corporations have no business being there. They want to be in business, fine, then they have to follow business laws. Okay? Safety, OSHA, everything, because they're put there for a reason. I'm sorry, I'm finding an itchy nose. So, and also not only ban lobbying and that, but also ban insider trading, which is a big no-no. And I think SEC should be coming down on them really hard for that. I really do. Because the laws should be followed by everybody. And Congress should not be exempt. They should be punished right along like everybody else that breaks the laws. And they should be no different. And another thing too is solve the Supreme Court issue. The Supreme Court justices were appointed and they were confirmed, right? So, then the president should be able to remove them from office. Or the Senate Judiciary, Committee should remove them, impeach them, impeach them and remove them, and then put somebody else in their place. That's ethical. And then force the Supreme Court to follow ethical rules, same way all the other courts have to follow. The Supreme Court should not be exempt. Yep. We should. We should expand the Supreme Court up to 12 and term limits every 4 years, same as the president. And, or put a retirement age limit there. Have them retire at 65 and that's it. They can't be up into their 80s or 90s. Same way in Congress. They should be safe. You could, your term of public service should be up until 65 and that's it. Now, as far as Dianne Feinstein, she needs to, of course she's not running next year. So, she's finishing out her public service this year. And of course, people are haggling on her because of her age and her illness and everything else. Did you know that she had... I'm sorry. Do you know that Dianne Feinstein was fighting shingles? She was in the hospital for it. And that she had pneumonia on top of it, which didn't help any. So, I hope she's feeling somewhat better, but they need to stop picking on her. Because she was sick and ill. Anybody could catch anything and get sick and ill. It's not their fault at all. I had shingles 2 years ago, and it's not something to play around with. I mean, you're sick from it. It's worse than having the actual chicken pox. And that's where shingles is from, is when you had chicken pox when you were a kid. Well, they call Shinglix, which is a scientific term for chicken pox virus. Well, when you were over it, it had a tendency to hide in your system. And then for whatever reason, some stress or whatever causes the virus to wake up, so to speak. And then it comes back out, comes back vengeance as shingles. And there is a vaccine now out for it. You can get 2 doses of it, and it's supposed to prevent it from coming back to a vengeance. I was going to get the shingles shot until I caught the shingles, and I had to wait until I was over it, and then get the vaccine so it doesn't come back. So, anyway, back to our candidates. But we need to find good candidates and younger people too. I mean, encourage the younger people to run. To have them start at the bottom. Many of them start at the bottom. Some start as town council members. They work their way to the state legislature, gain some experience, maybe 1 or 2 terms in the legislature, and then from legislature on up to the federal level, and getting experience that way. That's how they do it. Another thing we need to change in Congress. Once they leave public service in Congress, then they should not get retirement pay for it. It's all public service. if they need extra funds or extra pay for something, then they need to have a backup career to back them up. Go into something that they previously did. Okay? What? What are you yelling about? I'm trying to do my chat. Loki, you need to move. Loki, you need to move. 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 Hey, move. Sorry about that. Loki gets persnickety sometimes. Yeah, well, I know mine did. When I got my shingle shot through when I was on the Washington Apple program. Now I'm under the Medicare Advantage, which covers both the hearing and the glasses, prescription glasses, and the dental. Because once I reached over past 65, I had to go to the Medicare Advantage, and I couldn't be on Medicare or Medicaid. But I noticed that they added it back in. So I need to find my dentist and see if I can get my teeth fixed, too. Get that worked on. I was in the middle of working on my teeth. But when the pandemic hit, I was almost done. But when the pandemic hit, I, couldn't go to the office or anything because of their protocols and everything else. So, but I do need to work on getting my teeth done. And I'm looking at getting dental implants done. So, yeah, just make sure all your shots are caught up, guys. It's really important. And be sure to get your flu shot every year. I get mine every year. Because I don't really care to catch the flu. I've already had 2 bad cases of it when I was younger, and I was going, no. And also, if possible, make sure that other shots are good and everything else that work. Now, the only shot that I could not get, and I know that doesn't work, is the measles shot. Because my body will reject the vaccine. It will reject it. So it doesn't protect me from measles. I already had measles when I was younger. Matter of fact, I had measles twice. And because they found out that the measles vaccine was not working in my system. My system rejected it. So it makes me vulnerable for measles again. So I try to be very careful there. So one of those things, Anyway, that's the thing that the Congress and everything else needs to work on, is the policies and make common sense. Now, I don't mind President Biden running again. I'd like to see him, finish this out term. Technically, he's still pretty young. I mean, he goes out, he bicycles every day, he eats healthy, he exercises. He's still very, very sharp. And he has a very, very strong Irish work ethic. Irish are known for their work ethics, and they want to get things done. So, I'm happy for that. But we need good candidates in our system. Yeah. Well, I had measles when I was 9 years old, Virginia. Then again at age 29, this is like age 28 actually. It was like 6 months after I was married. I came down with the measles again. And talking about penis stick on the proverbial doorknob. I just don't really want to go through that again. Yeah, I had mumps too. Try that with mumps with strep throat with it. That happened to me one year. I was in 5th grade when that happened, and I wasn't feeling, when I was coming home that Friday, I was not feeling good at all. I was like, oh, my throat's killing me. And I go, oh, again, knowing it was going to be strep throat. And my neck really hurt and everything, so I came home. Mom took one look at me and she said, bed. And she said, I'll take care of the horses and everything else. You go to bed. You know. She had me, I took a bath and then got into clean PJs and went into bed. And I told her I just felt lousy, crappy, my throat's hurting. I hurt like right here, like especially behind the ears, which at that time my hearing was going way down. And so needless to say, I was out of school for about 7 days. I was not able to come back until I was totally over it, completely and clear and over it, because it's very contagious. So anyway, well, it's 1:30. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I will see you guys on, let me check my calendar, hold on 1 minute. I'll see you guys at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. And I hope you guys have a good evening. Stay safe. Just keep your weather eye to the sky, because it's going to be really stormy. And they're right now watching the Florida Keys area, and especially down in the Caribbean, tropical depressions forming. So keep an eye on it. See you later, Nancy. Love you. And I'll keep you posted on my story. It's a long process, so it's a learning curve for me. So, because they did a lot of updates. Okay? Alright, well, I'll talk to you guys later. Be sure to insist, persist, and push back. I will post this on my YouTube channel. And I need more subscribers for that. And I will talk to you guys later. Okay? Love you all. Bye-bye.